Good morning. This is your girl Jasmine D. Felder, and welcome to the Brand of Jasmine D podcast, where we discuss the modern day woman, her lifestyle, her career, parenting, dating, relationships, and more. I first off wanted to come on this morning and talk to you guys. Yesterday I was out driving, and where I was headed, I had like two ways that I could go, and I felt like the first direction or the first way was like kind of the long route. And I was like, I have other things to do. I don't want to go that way. So I ended up going the short route. And it was so funny because I went the short route, but the short route took longer. So I got stuck behind a car who kept stopping. There were pedestrians walking out. It was just so much traffic that way, and it prevented me from getting where I wanted to go at the time frame that I wanted to go. And of course, I feel like I look at life in different, ways. I always see an example or a life lesson in everything. And so, of course, I'm just hearing God, and it's like, sometimes you call yourself going the short route, or you're trying to take the shorter route, you're trying to take the quicker route, and what ends up happening is it takes longer. It takes longer for you to reach your destination. It takes you longer to reach your goal because you're trying to take the easy way. And in the easy way, there's a lot of distractions. There are a lot of obstacles. There are a lot of things that you did not initially see. Whereas the long route seems like the longer way because it may have some life lessons in there, but it also has some connections in there. The long route typically has fewer people on there because everyone wants to take the short route in life. So on the long route, you have less traffic. You have less things popping out in your way because everyone else is on the quick route road. So I just thought that was, I always try to come on with like a little tidbit first, a little inspiration that may or may not have anything to do with my topic because I just feel like it all goes together. So that's just my encouragement to sometimes we have to stop trying to take the short route. Sometimes we just have to go ahead and take the longer route. Yeah, it may be a little bit longer to us reaching our goals, but sometimes maybe not. Maybe it'll end up panning out to be the same time. Maybe, God will throw a ram in the bush, which means that something that we did not appear to think would happen, and it works for our good. But I just wanted to come on and kind of give that encouragement that yes, sometimes the longer route seems frustrating, but sometimes it's the better route for us to take. It has less people, it has less obstacles, it has less things going on there. And also, I want to go ahead and say today, it's important for me to open up more to you because, as I said to you all when we first started this is a journey between us all. Every day I'm striving to be a better mother, a better daughter, a better educator, a better writer, a better creator, even, claiming and manifesting a better wife and all of those things like that. And I want to go ahead and open up to you all. And I think it's so very important because this is a journey with us. And like I tell you all the time, it's not perfect on my end, but you all will probably hear some interference, so to speak. And if you hear it, it is my daughter. Just being mom. Sometimes I'm out in the car trying to get the podcast done. Sometimes I'm waiting until she takes a nap, or I'm making the podcast late at night. But just for all of my mothers, especially my single mothers or my single parents, sometimes we just don't have the luxury to always do that. Sometimes I can't stay up tremendously late or get up tremendously early, but it is my goal, and it is very important for me, my purpose, to make sure I get these podcast episodes out. So I just wanted to say, if you all hear any noise or interference, let's stay focused to the message. It is my daughter. And I'm doing the best that I can. And so that's me opening up way more because life isn't perfect. We can't always paint a picture perfect, picture. So it's important for me because someone else may be trying to figure out, well, how can I do my podcast? Because my background is never that tight. The kids are, and don't get me wrong, you don't want to have a lot of interference, a lot of screaming, a lot of yelling. But I also just want you all to know if I'm talking about, you know, being the best version of yourself, and we're having an open dialogue and we're having open discussions, and, you know, just really being open. I'm a mom and my background is not always quiet. So I just wanted to go ahead and also give that, just that disclaimer, so to speak. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get into my message today. It may or may not be short. I always say it's going to be short, and then it ends up being way longer. So I'm just going to go wherever the spirit leads me. But the title for today's podcast is You Are the Assignment. You're the assignment. A few weeks ago, I was laughing with some people and I was talking, and I was like, you know, it's always something, you know, and it seems like when you're trying to do good, when you're trying to be the best version of yourself, when you're trying to elevate, that's when everything starts to attack. But that lets you know that you're on the right course. That lets you know that you're doing something right. If you're not being bothered, if you're not tired, if you're not stressed, if it does not seem like it's always one thing after another, you may not be on the right track. But if it seems like every time you turn around and you're saying to yourself, I need to stop turning around, I'm pretty sure you're on the right track. I was listening to T.D. Jakes a few days ago, and he was talking about a time period in his life where, you know, someone kept contacting him and trying to disrupt his marriage. And he was talking to a mentor, and the mentor said, well, are you attracted to this individual? And he was like, no. He was like, the mentor was like, do you want this individual? And he was like, no, I love my wife. I'm actually angry when this individual calls. He said, okay, so when this individual calls, how do you feel? When this individual comes around, how do you feel? And he was like angry, upset. And he said, okay, well, if the devil was trying to tempt you with a woman, don't you think he would, you know, tempt you with someone that you were attracted to, someone who you found beautiful, someone who, you know, appealed to your physical, you know, desires? He said, if when this person contacts you, you feel anger, you know, you're repulsed, you're frustrated. He was like, the devil isn't trying to tempt you with that. The devil is trying to anger you. And so that made me think about, you know, when we're going through things in life, we have to check how we feel. When situations come against us, are we feeling depressed? Are we sad? Are we angry? You know, what is it? Because you got to realize you are the assignment. So when people come against you, and it seems like all of these different situations keep coming against you, you have to ask yourself, and you got to be honest with yourself, how do I feel? Because I'm going to be honest. Of course, being a single parent, I'm going back to school. I'm a full-time educator, full-time podcaster, you know, trying to have a social life, just different things. I'm always feeling tired. I feel like I don't have a village sometimes. I feel like, you know, I'm frustrated, I'm tired, and sometimes I'm like, I don't have the time to get up and do this podcast. You know, I don't want to go back to school. Why isn't this enough? And so I started to tell myself, if the enemy can get you distracted with all of those feelings of what you don't have, if the enemy can get you distracted because you're frustrated and you're tired, then that makes you start to feel like, I don't need to do this podcast. That starts to make you feel like, you know, I don't have time to write. I don't have time to create. And then what you start doing is you start getting frustrated with your calling. You start doing less. And that's the trick of the enemy. So you got to ask yourself, you know, when I'm feeling frustrated or I'm tired, you know, what really are you feeling? What emotions are you feeling? And then that's how you can kind of become aware of the trick that the enemy is using against you. Because just like with T.D. Jakes, he put a woman in his path, and if you weren't paying attention, you would have thought the trick was temptation of another woman, but that wasn't it. He was beginning to become frustrated with this woman. He was beginning to let his words become who he wasn't. His actions were becoming who he wasn't. And that is how the enemy was able to sneak in on him. So we have to realize that we are the assignment. you know, if you have a gift, I mean, we all have gifts, but a lot of us have been so graciously able to tap into our gifts and our callings. And the thing of that is, when you are tapping into your gift and you are tapping into your calling, you are now becoming an immediate threat to the enemy. So he's going to start throwing things at you. You know, my daughter is 3, and sometimes I'm looking at it and I'm like, it seems like she's jumping from wall to wall. I mean, busy, and it's like, oh my goodness, baby, give mommy some time to get this done. You know, it seems like I'm coming in, I'm getting off of work, I'm trying to get dinner ready, I'm trying to prepare a lesson plan, I'm trying to get a PowerPoint lesson together, I'm trying to write, I'm trying to get this podcast, I'm trying to talk with friends, I'm trying to catch up on shows, I'm trying to get my time in with God. It feels like I'm trying to be stretched and pulled into 20 different ways. And that's the trick of the enemy. It's not always something that seems so like big. That's the trick. The trick is worry. The trick is, if I can get you to worry about everything else, then I can get you to take a step back on your calling and what you're trying to do. You have to realize you are the assignment. Everything that's not meant for your good will try to come against you. You got to be careful who you're around, because your spirit may not agree with a lot of the spirits around you. You got to be careful about people who you allow to speak into you. I have had people tell me, oh wow, like, it's a lot of people doing podcasts. You sure that's what you want to do? Are you sure that, you know, well, make sure that you talk about something interesting, because, you know, we don't want to hear all of those things. And sometimes people they really don't mean to be malicious with it. It's just everyone does not have your vision. Everyone cannot see the vision. That is why they were not given the vision. So you have to be careful of who you allow to speak into you, because in the late midnight hour when you are alone, those comments that were made start to speak back to you like, well, do I need to do this podcast? Do I need to write this book? Can I do hair? Can I be a, you know, content creator? Can I play sports? Can I be an educator? Can I be an entrepreneur? People will put their fears onto you. So you have to be careful of who you allow to speak into you, because everyone isn't going to step into their gift. Everyone is gifted, but everyone isn't going to step into their gift. Many are called, few are chosen. Many are called, many are put into position, but there's few people who are actually chosen to be in that place. So I really wanted to come on today just so that we could understand that we are the assignment. There are so many evil counterparts. There are so many people that the enemy is using to really try to get in our way and be an obstacle. There are so many tricks that he has put into place to try to stop us from doing what we need to do. Because whether we realize it or not, we are important. We are important to the kingdom of God. We are important to our family. We are important to our friends. If we could take a glimpse into the future to really see what we're going to be doing a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we'll be blown away. 5 years ago, at 25 years old, I never would have thought that I would be creating my own podcast and flourishing in it. 5 years ago, I never would have thought that I would have been a best-selling author on Amazon, self-publishing my own books. I never would have thought that. So I can only imagine who I'll be 5 years from now. I can only imagine who I'll be 10 years from now. That's why you have to make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people. You got to make sure you're around like-minded people who can add to you just like you can add to them. Because if you're around people who you're the only one who's adding, your cup is going to be empty. And when your cup is empty, that's when we're tired, we're frustrated. That's when we want to throw in the towel. I cannot tell you all how many times that I was just like, you know what, you're doing too much. And at this point in time, I just want to take a break. But I have to be the village. Just like I've had people speaking to me, just like I've had people positively add to me, I have to give that back. That's why God has placed me into position so that I can give back, so that I can help people. It's some people who have never met me, I've never met them, who do not know me, who have played such a key part into my transformation. And I want to be that same person. I want to give back and add to people because it's so very important. That's why we have relationships. That's why God has allowed us to have relationships, because it's so very important. It's so very important for us to encourage people. It's so very important for us to add to people. And if you're not around people who can add to you, if you're not around people who are encouraging you, you need to change the people that you are around. You have to realize you are the assignment. It's, and I'm going to just be honest, it's some devils in hell who are working hard. It's some devils in hell who are working hard, and not just in hell, on earth as well. But it's some devils in hell and on earth who are working tremendously hard to make sure that you do not reach your destination, your end result, to make sure that you do not fulfill the prophecy over your life. And you have to make sure that you don't allow that to happen. You have to stay in the word. You have to stay prayed up. You have to continue to fill your cup. You have to stay inspired. And when you find yourself getting tired, when you find yourself getting weak, when you find yourself saying this is too much, you have to get in that closet and you have to revamp yourself. And just as I tell you all, I'm fighting to deliver this message. You know, there's a lot of just things that will distract us, and we got to realize that we are the assignment. I mean, it was so much in my way today, so much in my way where I could have made the excuse and just been like, you know what? I'm not going to do this episode. I could have waited late tonight. I could have waited until my daughter was asleep. But I knew that I had to get it done. And I had to get it done in the best version of myself. Not when I was tired and I wouldn't be able to flow with my message. Not when I was trying to speak tremendously low. So I think it's so very important, because I want people to know, especially my single moms and my single parents, my single dads, to just know it's not going to always be easy. One day it will be easier, but you got to fight to that. Just like we talk about residual income. Residual income is when money just comes to you. And it comes to you on a consistent basis based off of work that you previously put in. So we're going to have that residual income. We're going to have those residual blessings. We're going to have that residual experience where we're just going to reap. We're going to be able to reap from everything that we've put in, from all of the work that we've done over the course of months and years. We're going to see that, but we have to put in the work now. We have to work hard now. I know you're tired. I'm tired. I know you could receive more help, and I know you need more help. I need more help, but you got to keep pushing. You got whatever you have to do. You have to keep pushing and realize you are the assignment, and take it as a compliment. Because if people are working so hard to prevent you from getting to where you need to be, that lets you know, that lets me know that they already see the talent. They already see the gifts. They already see how great you're going to be. We need to see that. And we need to keep working. And we need to realize that we are the assignment. But keep pushing. Keep praying. Keep your cup filled. Remove the people who are taking from your cup. And realize that there's greatness in you. There's greatness in you, and you have to keep pulling it out of you. You have to work hard. You got to stay up late. Sometimes I said this in my previous episode. It's your walk. You got to be willing. You got to hold yourself accountable, and you have to apply pressure. You have to continue putting in that work, because that's the only way you're going to end up reaping. If you continuously work hard, you are the assignment. It's some people studying you. It's some people trying to figure out, how do you do what you do? They are studying you. They're studying how you talk. They're studying how you walk. They're studying how you react. You're the assignment. And that's a compliment to me. You are the assignment. But they always got to know that people can copy you, but you can never be fully duplicated. No one can do what you do, how you do, at the level that you do it. So I just wanted to quickly come on, and I thank you all so much for supporting the Brand of Jasmine D and the Brand of Jasmine D podcast, because as I have explained previously, it's the same entity, but they're two different things. The Brand of Jasmine D is the brand as a whole. The Brand of Jasmine D podcast, of course, is my podcast, how I can get on and talk with you all. And I want to be able to open up more. I want to create a Brand of Jasmine D podcast community where you all can ask me questions, and I can come on here and do a Q&A and, answer some of the questions, because And I want to ask you all questions because I feel like we can learn from each other. You know, that is the whole point of me creating this podcast. Not for me to sit on here as an expert, but for me to sit on here as someone who's had experiences, share those experiences, and then we work together and we come to, you know, a common goal, and we form into the best version of ourselves. So please be on the lookout for that. Make sure you're following me on Instagram at the brand of Jasmine D. Make sure you're following me on Snapchat, brand of Jasmine D. I am on TikTok at the brand of Jasmine D. I want us to continue to build. I want us to continue to have conversations. I want to hear from you all on the type of conversations that you want to have, because I want this to flow. I want this to be as real as I'm pulling out. I'm going to share experiences with you all. I'm going to share some things that I've gone through, some things that I am going through, and I want you all to be able to, you know, share with me, because as we share, we're going to realize that you're not going through things alone. There are people all around the world going through the same things that you are. And I think when we realize that, we'll stop being hard on ourselves. We'll realize that people have made mistakes just like we've made mistakes. And so we're just coming to be the best version of ourselves. So again, thank you all so much for listening and supporting the brand of Jasmine D and the brand of Jasmine D podcast. This is your girl, Jasmine D, and I am signing out.